Hello and welcome to this explainer. If you're joining me today, it's very likely that you're looking for a way to gently bridge a gap that might have formed in your relationship. And I want to tell you right away, from the very bottom of my heart, that you are in a safe, warm, and entirely judgment-free space here. As a medical professional, I sit down every single day with women and couples who feel shy, confused, or maybe just really emotionally distant when the topic of intimacy comes up. It is so incredibly common. So today, we're going to have a gentle, mature, and comforting conversation about reviving that intimacy and emotional health in your marriage. We'll explore how our bodies and minds actually work together to create connection. So I invite you to just take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's dive into this together. Tell me, do you ever feel emotionally exhausted or maybe just simply too distant for intimacy? If you're nodding your head yes right now, I want to softly validate exactly how you're feeling. I hear from women all the time who tell me they just feel completely tapped out by the time evening rolls around. Experiencing emotional distance or feeling just plain exhausted from the endless demands of daily life, that is so completely normal, and it is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. We carry this heavy weight of our days into the evening, and when intimacy is brought up, well, it can honestly feel like just another chore on an endless to-do list. I want you to know that that feeling of distance is a very normal, very human response to a busy life. Before we look at the science and the real heart behind healing this distance, I want to warmly invite you to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you're joining a really caring, judgment-free community that is entirely dedicated to your emotional and physical well-being. We're here to gently support you every single step of the way. Okay, so let's start by looking at a word that carries a whole lot of misconceptions. We really need to redefine what foreplay means in a healthy relationship. It is not a quick 5-minute physical prelude right before intimacy. Instead, think of it as a continuous emotional and physical connection. It's an ongoing, warm, energetic current that flows between partners all throughout the day. It's that sweet compliment in the morning over coffee, it's holding hands while walking the dog, or just a reassuring touch on the shoulder in passing. When we start viewing it this way, we realize that building desire isn't just about physical touch. It's really about establishing daily trust and deep emotional closeness. There is a truly beautiful saying we use in my field. Intimacy begins the moment your last loving encounter ends. Feeling loved and emotionally supported outside the bedroom directly nurtures your physical readiness and desire inside the bedroom. I mean, think about it. If your partner actively helps share the mental load, say by doing the dishes or managing the kids' homework without having to be asked, that simple act of service significantly reduces your stress. It makes you feel cared for, it makes you feel seen. I hear from couples all the time who are just amazed at how quickly their physical connection improves when they simply start being kinder and more helpful to each other during the daylight hours. Feeling deeply cared for really is one of the most powerful ways to naturally spark desire. But we have to be realistic, right? What actually happens when that ongoing connection is disrupted? Because there are very real, very human intimacy hurdles that we all face. Things like chronic exhaustion, simmering relationship tension, unspoken stress and anxiety, or shifting hormones. And I want to compassionately emphasize here that an absence of desire is almost always a physiological response to life's intense demands. It is not a sign that your relationship is broken. When you are overwhelmed, your body produces cortisol. That's a stress hormone that acts literally like a biological fire extinguisher for your sex drive. When those cortisol levels are running high or you're navigating totally natural hormonal shifts, your central nervous system basically goes into survival mode, and it naturally deprioritizes intimacy. Understanding this deep mind-body connection is absolutely crucial to giving yourself some much-needed grace.
Now, this next concept, this is often a massive light bulb moment for the women I speak with in my clinic. We tend to be taught that desire should just strike us out of nowhere. We call that spontaneous desire. But in reality, a huge portion of people, especially women, experience what we call responsive desire. And all this means is that you need a foundation of emotional safety, relaxation, and gentle physical or mental stimulation before you actually feel turned on or ready for intimacy. Your brain basically needs to be seduced by comfort and connection first. Needing that time and the right emotional context to feel aroused is perfectly healthy, it's beautifully normal, and it is incredibly common. So the really crucial piece to understand here is the mind-body bridge. When you feel emotionally safe and you're engaging in that ongoing, gentle connection we just talked about, biological changes actually take place in your body. Emotional comfort lowers your anxiety, which naturally decreases that pesky cortisol we mentioned earlier, and this allows your brain to release calming, feel-good hormones like oxytocin and dopamine. This biological shift then naturally increases blood flow to your body, which wonderfully aids in natural lubrication and prepares the tissues for a painless, truly enjoyable connection. Your emotions quite literally prepare your physical body for pleasure. And speaking of the physical body, let's gently address a very common hurdle that so many women deal with: vaginal dryness. I really want to remove any lingering stigma around this physical discomfort right here and now. I have patients who sit in my office feeling so embarrassed to bring this up, but I promise you it is a highly, highly common condition. It is very often simply linked to stress, deep fatigue, or entirely normal hormonal shifts, like the declining estrogen levels we see during perimenopause or menopause. It definitely doesn't mean you're broken, and it certainly doesn't mean you don't love your partner. It simply means your body might just need a little extra time, a longer runway of emotional connection, or just the simple, helpful addition of a gentle medical lubricant. Of course, to truly address any physical or emotional hurdles, we have to look at the absolute foundation of it all: mutual respect and clear consent. True emotional intimacy requires an absolute bedrock of trust. You should always, always feel empowered to communicate your boundaries, and that communication should always be met with genuine patience and understanding from your partner. Knowing that you can safely say, "Hey, let's slow down," or "I'm just not ready for this today," actually creates the very psychological safety that allows desire to slowly bloom in the first place. So how do we gently find our way back there? Well, here is a lovely, pressure-free path to slowly rebuild your bond. Step 1 is open, completely shame-free communication. Talk to your partner about what feels good right now and what feels a bit overwhelming. Step 2 is practicing everyday affection, entirely without the expectation that it must lead to the bedroom. Just give a lingering hug for the pure sake of giving a hug. And step 3 is prioritizing mutual emotional safety above everything else. Try to make your relationship a real safe harbor from the stress of the outside world. When you put this into practice, everyday acts of intimacy truly become the building blocks of a healthy physical relationship. It's a comforting hug in the kitchen while the coffee's brewing. It's listening to your partner vent about their frustrating day without trying to immediately fix it or judge it. It's actively sharing that heavy household mental load we talked about. It's offering genuine, heartfelt compliments. I advise couples all the time to really focus in on these small, seemingly mundane moments, because feeling deeply valued and respected as an equal partner translates directly into feeling desired and wanting to be close. I want you to let this next thought really sink into your heart. A lack of desire is not a personal failure. It is simply your body asking for care. If you take absolutely nothing else away from our time together today, please let it be this: eradicate any lingering shame you might be holding on to right now. Your body's responses are completely valid. They're just signals. They deserve your patience, your attention, and your utmost care. They never, ever deserve your self-criticism. And because your body and mind deserve that care, I want to remind you that seeking support is a profound act of self-care. This might mean making an appointment to speak with a supportive doctor about physical symptoms or hormone changes you're noticing. It might mean consulting a compassionate couples counselor to help kind of translate your feelings to your partner. Or it could be exploring individual therapy to navigate past emotional hurdles. Reaching out for professional help is a healthy, proactive, and incredibly brave way to maintain your relationship and your personal well-being. It is completely 100% free from stigma. If this conversation has brought you a sense of comfort or clarity today, I'd love to offer a soft, warm reminder to please subscribe to our channel. We are so committed to continuing to nurture your well-being with gentle, medically sound, and emotionally safe explainers just like this one. I really want to thank you for trusting me with your time and your emotional energy today. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, empowering thought to ponder. What is one gentle step you can take today to nurture your emotional connection? It doesn't have to be grand or sweeping. It could literally just be sending a sweet text, asking for a slightly longer hug, or maybe simply deciding to forgive yourself for feeling so exhausted lately. Healing intimacy is a gentle, beautiful, ongoing journey that is deeply rooted in healthy communication, prioritizing emotional connection, mutual respect, and, of course, profound self-care. Please be kind to yourself. Don't ever be afraid to seek help without shame when intimacy problems affect your well-being. And remember that true, lasting connection is built one small, loving moment at a time. Take care of yourselves.